Your entire life.
In my entire life, literally. I'm human. Like, I have my needs too. And I'm not saying that like it was selfish, but I have my needs too.
I hear you, sis.
And I'm supposed to just stay with somebody? No,
you're
supposed.
There goes the excuses. Anyway, listen, hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We're giving you guys a live talking about, well, episode 1 and 2 of Love is Blind. Yes. Hold on. Let me get my shirt in order. Listen, I'm talking to you guys about Love is Blind episode 1 and 2. Please keep the spoilers to a minimum. Don't do them at all, right? Episode 1 and 2, specifically 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. You understand? Yeah? 3, 4, and 5 don't make no sense to me. I have not watched it yet. We will do that tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah, we can do 3 and 4 tomorrow, but today it's 1 and 2. Tomorrow we can do 3 and 4. Okay, but let's be freaking honest. Okay, the first 2 episodes are mad on its own. Okay, the first 2 episodes are mad on its own. I want to just say that, you know, watching it so far, I think the women are a little bit. This is another one of those seasons where the women are a little bit. You understand? Yeah, they're a little bit. Yeah. So for me personally, just watching it so far, I'm like, yo, there's a lot to unpack in the first 2 episodes. Like, just getting deep already with people's trauma, things that people have been through. Johnie's a whole trip. Can we talk about Johnie? Johnie's a whole trip. My girl actually divorced her husband because her ex-boyfriend died. Are you dumb? No, we need to deep this, you know. Deep what I'm saying. A whole girl dumped her whole husband because her ex-boyfriend died. I need to deep that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. Yeah? Her whole husband got dumped because she wasn't over him, first and foremost, the ex-boyfriend. And her husband was actually a rebound. Deep that, you know. Never loved him. Deep it. So when she said that, yeah, Izzy should be scared. He should be running, blood. I mean, he should be running for the hills, Kez. You know what I'm saying to you? So, yeah, no, I'll be honest with you. You know, these episodes have been a bit. They've been crazy. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. Okay, so guys, keep the spoilers to a minimum, please. I don't care about 3, 4, and 5. I don't care that you predicted Uche. I don't care if you predicted Lydia in 3, 4, 5. I don't care. It is 1 and 2, 1 and 2 today. Okay, don't come into the chat and say 3, 4, and 5 because once I call a fish alive, I don't care. It's 1 and 2. All right, so we're gonna break it down. You know. Let's get into this conversation. All right, cool. Before we go anywhere, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. You know, we're trying to get to 100k subscribers, so please, by all means, if you're here and you're new and you're watching, make sure you press that subscribe button. Want to have a real good conversation today, okay? If you do want to be part of the conversation as well, if you want to be a part of it, if you want to have your say, I will put the link in the chat. I've got 2 hours maximum, okay? If you come late, I don't want to hear it. I've only got 2 hours maximum, okay? We've got 1 hour and 52 minutes left, okay? 2 hours maximum, okay? So, you know what I mean? We're going to keep it cute. We're going to keep it on time because I got things to do today, okay? All right, so yes, the first 2 episodes are amazing. I think they really do showcase some really key things, and I will show you where we can talk about this. I got a bit of a sore throat. So, guys, do bear with me. My throat's still hurting. I still got a bit of a fever. I'm trying to give you guys energy, but just bear with me today. All right, cool. Let's get into it because, you know, let's get into it. Like, let's get into it. Okay. Let's deal with the first part because I'll be honest with you, I was cooking. Let's talk about Uche and Aaliyah first and foremost, right? I'm gonna give my honest sentiments on Uche and Aaliyah, okay? And I agree. I don't think Uche, I don't think Aaliyah is a villain. I don't see her as a villain. So you're right, Trey. I do not see Aliyah as a villain. What I do see with Aliyah and what I do see with Aliyah and Uche is two things, right? I think Uche is very scared of having a woman take advantage of him. He's not great with his emotions because he talks about how he uses poetry as a way of expressing himself. Um, and then also as well, I think I think also that Uche is I think because he's scared, he wants to control a little bit of the narrative. And I think he was looking for a perfect person in Leah, right? Um, on the flip side, I think also with Aliyah, I think she's great. First of all, Aliyah's beautiful, stunning, amazing, so good looking. Honestly, so good looking. But I think on the flip side with Aliyah, what the situation is with Aliyah is, um, you know, the she was really feeling Uche, really down for him, really was connecting with him, loved what he was bringing to the table, loved what he's putting down. The trouble with Aliyah's situation is I'm sick and tired of you pretending to cry, right? I'm sick and I'm tired of you pretending to cry because what you're not doing is being accountable for your decisions that you've done. I get it that you cheated, okay? Um, you know, I get that. I get that. You know what? You were in a relationship. You needed your needs being met. You end up sleeping with somebody else only once. That's what you said anyway. Only once, apparently. Only once, and then you never tell your boyfriend that, but now you told us on national television, and your ex-boyfriend now knows when we know. Okay, all right. What I need you to do is stop pretending to put on a sad face and dipping your head low like you're Christian Milian, and taking it slow. I just need you to stop doing that. You know what I mean? Because you're ciphering for my sympathy. I'm not gonna say that you're not. I'm not gonna say that people don't make mistakes. People do make mistakes, and that's why I said it's cool. It's cool that you make mistakes. It's cool that you've done something stupid. I've cheated before. Other people have cheated before. You know what I mean? So no one can hold you to the stake and burn you because everybody's done something stupid before. What I don't like is the constant puppy dog eyes that I'm getting and the tears that never fell. You know what I mean? The tears that just don't be falling. I get frustrated by that. And this conversation obviously takes place here as well. A little bit this one, yeah.
You're supposed to break up with that person.
I should
That's
have.
the honest thing to
yes.
do. Just break up with that person.
And I would do that now.
You're peeking it. She said she'll do it now, though, fam.
Yeah, well, thank.
Now, listen, let me be very real with you. I think Uche had the right idea. Can I be honest with you? Uche had the right idea in terms of questioning Aliyah. I think he had the right idea. You do have to question people when they say they cheated and they tell your story. I think he had absolutely the right idea. I think the execution was lacking. If I'm honest with you, the execution was lacking today. Okay? Execution was lacking. It needed more. Okay? It needed more empathy and a bit more sympathy in the way that he delivered in tone and in the words that was used. And he was so down bad with Aliyah and what she had said that at a point, the next day when he comes to talk to her, he even forgets that he asked her, "Would you do the same to me? How do I know? How do I know you won't do the same to me?" And because he was so down bad because he was triggered by what she had done, he didn't realize he even said that. That's when I knew he was down bad. Now, of course, we want to hold a safe space. We want to make it comfortable for the other person to explain what they're saying. We do. We want that safe space. What I'm aware of, though, is the fake crying that was being done, and I'll address that in a second. But you want to hold a healthy tension. You want to hold a safe space, but at the same time, there are facts that you're hearing that you're like, oh, I don't know. I don't like the way you're doing it. You know, I don't. The safe space is being corrupted a little bit by the tone, right? And it became more of a grilling and a telling off. I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that. That particular aspect, right? So I'm not gonna take that away. Like, that he definitely failed and got an F grade on that. Okay. Here's my thing. Okay, and this is where both of them, like I said, we have to hold both of them accountable. I think the truth of the matter is that Aliyah took a stance which I didn't like. She took a stance I really didn't like, and Trey's kind of put it on there too, right? Like I said, when people go through a situation like cheating, when they tell you, I just won't do it again, trust and believe they're going to do it again. Like, cheating does one or two things to you when you mature from it. You learn and you learn, and you usually give a more, I would say, a more fuller answer. Like, you know what? Like, yo, I realized it was so bad. I realized I did this. I realized my mind was this. You kind of give like a full synopsis. When your ideology is simply, I feel bad about what I've done, and it stays there, I believe you're going to do it again. And the reason why is because you are a slave to your emotions. It's just about, I felt bad. And, well, the reason why you cheated in the first place, because it felt good. So what's the learning curve for the individual person? You know what I mean? So for me personally, I was like, yo, okay, because of the way she's explained it, I personally felt like, you know what? It wasn't a great explanation from her either. She's left a lot to be desired on the table. And it's scary the way you're saying it. Right? Thank you, Regina. Precisely that. She'll end up doing it again. Because she wasn't really, where she was like, because even when he questioned her, she was like, what else was I supposed to do? Wait, so you still haven't learned? That's what I knew she hadn't learned. Let me go back for you. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it.
I'm human. Like, I have my needs.
Let's go back. Right? Let's go back. When he questioned her and he said about, why don't you just leave? This first answer is the reason why I knew she gonna do it again. Okay? She gonna do what she gonna do again. Listen to this.
My first and only time ever doing that in a relationship.
In your entire life.
In my entire life. Literally. I'm human. Like, I have my needs too. And I'm not saying that like it was selfish, but I have my needs too. And I'm supposed to just stay with somebody? No,
you're supposed to.
See, when she tried to justify her behavior, and I was like, I was like, yo, I knew straight away. Yep. I knew straight away that this girl will do it again. She will do it again. And that's why I said, I've told you guys this before. When you have cheated, you listen to the answer somebody gives you. Listen to the maturity and the growth that they've gone through when they've cheated on somebody and how it's changed them. Because cheating changes you. If you ever cheat on somebody, it changes you because it actually creates insecurities in you. So if you cheat or you've been cheated on, you know exactly the damage it does to you and the individual person. You've witnessed it firsthand. So when I listen to people's story or listen to their answers about when they've cheated, I listen to see where's the growth, where's the maturity, where is the, oh, I've come to my revelation. Because when I cheated, I realized, oh my God, when I cheated, I said, oh my God, I've created my own insecurities. I can't trust other people now. Because I used to think I was a good person. And when I cheated, I said, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Hey, yeah, let's not do this again, because that's not a good look. Right? Now, of course, things happen and people might end up cheating again. That's natural. Someone might have a good answer and cheat again. It's natural as a human being that people make stupid mistakes, right? But when someone is lacking in that place and they're doing that, I'm telling you, they're going to do it again. That's irrelevant to Uche. And Uche's, again, questioning with his tone and his argumentative stance in the way he delivered what he delivered. I think in that instant, some of the instance, I don't agree with it. But in this aspect, I do understand parts of why. But with her, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I was like looking at going, sis. She was like, "What?" And then when she asked, was what? I had needs too. What was I supposed to do? I said, "Oh." I was like, "Ooh." I was like, "Ooh." No, 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 no. Ooh, you gon' love me, and I know that. Do 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 do. I said, "Nah, this ain't it." Now I know some of you are saying, "Don't tell your partner." Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this for free. It will come out anyway. See, what you're not doing is you're not fixing the root cause. What you're doing is you're actually covering up your insecurity. You're only covering up the issue. It's going to come up in a different way. Let me keep it a buck right now. That's really bad advice to give somebody, and I'm going to tell you why it's bad advice. When women start saying about don't tell a man this because he can't handle this, the reality of the situation is that is not the greatest advice. Now, I'm not saying to tell every business. Of course, listen, I'm not telling you to say everything. Of course, it's not. It's about learning, obviously, what time and place, right? But I'm going to tell you this now. It is the thing wasn't about cheating. The thing was about what she learned from that particular position. And let me tell you this now, whether you tell me or not, if you've not grown and matured, it will come out some other way. So yes, don't tell me, but if I've matured, if the other person is a vulnerable person, they're matured, they're working on their healthiness in relationship, I'm telling you, you're going to be found out. Whether it's cheating or whether it comes out in another area, because that maturity in that area is also affecting other areas of your emotional immaturity. Because if you're immature in this understanding that, hey, look, what have I learned from the situation? Then you're probably going to justify other bad behaviors that you have. If you can justify your cheating, you are going to justify other bad behaviors you have. You can't run away. So things have to be dealt with on a root cause. So not telling somebody sounds okay. And I'm not saying that that there is a time and there isn't a time and a place. I do agree. You know what I mean? I do agree. There's a time and a place, right? All I'm saying is, all I'm saying is that there's a there must be an understanding. You know what I mean? There must be an understanding. Because look, when people talk to me, they ask me, have I cheated before? I say, yeah, I've cheated before. I've cheated before. Yeah. I made that stupid mistake when I was younger. I cheated. I was a fool for it. And the reason why I did it was because of me. You know what I mean? It's because of me. And the reason why I can talk so comfortably about it is because, one, I know I'm not trying to do it again. And number two, what I've learned from it is I realize how it impacts me and how it impacts the other person. And I never want to be in that same place again. So when you ask me, I'm not afraid to answer that question. When we start saying, I'm not going to tell somebody something, we really are in a place where we're afraid of being vulnerable. This is not being vulnerable. And that is where you're going to start having problems in a relationship. I want to break it down from a root cause issue. It will come up again in the relationship because you're failing to be vulnerable. That was wild. For him to say you're a recent cheater was hella wild. But I also understand where he's coming from. You know what I mean? Trust me, Trey. Tell him again, sir. Tell him again, sir. It's very wild, right? So I'm not just talking about Aliyah. I'm talking about as a general principle from all of us to understand this principle. You cannot run away from things that are root causes. You get me? You can't run away from it. Because I was looking at Aliyah and I was like, I did the exact same thing. When I cheated, I didn't tell the person either at the time. But it wasn't about them. And that's why he was calling her out. It's like you wanna pretend that it's about the other person. It's not about the other person. And this is why I'm saying that what she was saying is what I've heard a lot of men say when they're cheaters. And that's how you know they're gonna do it again. Because when they start saying, "Oh, I didn't want to hurt their feelings," I was thinking about them. How you think about them when you cheat in the first place? Right? You see what I'm saying to you? So, yeah, that's what I would say. You know what I mean? That's what I would say. You know? So, in that respect, Miss Only said, do we hear what he kind of said? Well, he kind of explained. He said, obviously, he ended up telling the person. He did end up telling the person because his conscience wouldn't allow it. So that's what he said. Okay. He said that his conscience wouldn't allow it, so he told the person. So in some respect, he did. You know. But again, you know, we can even talk about Uche's situation too, because look, when the reason why I ended up telling my ex why I cheated was not because I felt, not because you know, for her sake, it was for my sake. You know, I wanted to ease my guilty conscience. I wanted to make sure that, you know, I wanted to be free, because in the back of my mind, I always had the thought, "Rah, you cheated and got away with it. That's not cute." You know what I mean? That's the only reason why I told. It was like carrying a body. It's like knowing you killed somebody. That's what it was like. You know what I'm saying? So yes, telling someone can also ease your guilty conscience. It can, yeah. But I'd rather you tell and ease your guilty conscience than carry that guilty conscience into the next relationship, because you about to carry that into the next relationship. Trust me, I carried it myself. So, you know, well, we don't know if he actually sell it for his guilty conscience. We don't know that. I'm saying that for me, I did it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna pretend as if I know exactly why he said it, but I'm gonna say definitely I know that when I did it, I said it after though. I didn't say it at the time. I said it after I felt a guilty conscience, you know. So yeah. Gigi said it will be held against you. Said it will be held against you. Oh, okay, that's why it will be held against you. I come forward with that. Did he say that? Okay, did he tell? Is that what he said? He said he confessed because he had a guilty conscience. Well, I guess that's why you would tell, isn't it? I guess that's why you would tell. I do agree this point though as well, Veronica. I definitely agree this point though. He did want to discredit her because he was looking for anything to hold against her. I agree. I definitely agree this. Definitely agree with that. And I definitely agree with this political point. I think you're trying to compare. I definitely agree with that as well. Definitely. Okay. All right, cool. So let's leave them two alone because and okay, well, episode 2. I need to, you know what? I'm gonna duplicate. Let me do this because oh my days. Can you behave yourself, computer? That's it. Can you behave yourself? Not behaving yourself. Maybe my computer don't slow down because I want to see if I can do this. I want to be able to bring episode 2 up as well because there were some things in episode 2 that were interesting for me. I think just kind of okay, one language that way. Okay, but for episode 2, and I put a video out. It's going to come out in a few.
Like you're the person I like look forward to talking to.
And it was about the aspect of when he asked for forgiveness, and I was like, "Yo, dog." Again, brother missed it, got it wrong, but at least he apologized. And I have to respect the fact that he did apologize and he apologized appropriately. I will be honest with you, he did. But I was still a bit flabbergasted by the comment that he said he forgot that he had said to her. You know what I mean?
And everybody has made mistakes. I think the biggest thing is it just kind of surprised me
it's fair that you were surprised and caught off guard. It just, how do I feel comfortable telling you something else moving forward? You know what I mean? It's just, I don't.
Listen, so he obviously then, said obviously to her, that, he wanted forgiveness. He apologized. The apology was a serious one. So after applaud the apology. But, I think, the part that I didn't like, there's a part where I really didn't like, and I did a review on it. I don't know if it's come out already. The part that I did not like from Uche. Who's calling me? Hold on. Oh, my sister's calling me. Hold on, guys. Yes, yeah. Hold on. I'm on live, guys. Hold on 2 seconds. Let me play the. Yes. Are you okay? Where are you? I'm coming out in the Uber. Okay, cool. I'm just at home. Just come through the door. All right, love you, sis. Okay, cool. So sorry, that's my sister. But yeah, no. So the part that I really did not like, and I knew that he was going to be a problem. Okay, is this part where I knew. Listen, I don't back Uche. I'm just saying that I know that he's a big ass problem, and I hope I can find the right clip. Where's
I understand that if I want somebody to be honest, I need to create the environment where they feel comfortable telling me things. I care so much about you and I accept you for who you are.
That's a good point. Now, the part I want to play, that's not the part I want to play, guys. Okay. I want to see if I can get it for you guys. And it was, I think it might have been like, hey, where is it? Boy, finding this is going to be very difficult because I don't remember exactly where I put a timestamp. But basically what he said was, he basically came out and said, he basically put all the emphasis on her. He was like, if you be honest, basically, then what if you be honest, basically, then I'll be able to accept anything you give. And I was like, I don't like the way you said that. I didn't like that. I don't like the fact that he said that because I feel like it puts the onus on her, not only about being honest, but the tone of the way he said it. You are going to be questioned about your honesty every single time. You know what I mean? But again, we're in episode 102. So if you're reading Uche from episode 3, 4, 5, I don't know that. I only know Uche from episode 1 and 2, guys. Okay. I only know Uche from episode 1 and 2. Okay. Let me see if I can find a clip for you guys.
Scares me. That's why I'm, like reacting like that. Like I'm like, trying to look for something wrong when there's nothing wrong. How negatively I would view that.
It wasn't easy, okay?
I know, Aliyah. I understand that if I want somebody to...
Oh my God, I have to find it. I'm gonna find a clip for you guys. I'm gonna literally find a clip. I will find it in. I'll find a clip for you guys. But yeah, what I wanted to talk about was actually the fact that it's the way he said, literally, if you be honest, I'm gonna always be able to accept that. And I said, you ain't. I said, you ain't, because she was honest today and you couldn't accept it. So you ain't gonna do that. Let's be honest. You're not gonna be okay with it. So I was like, I don't know why. I just felt like that was a bit darker than it needed to be. And I felt like, you know what, you're gonna be trying to prove something to him every single time. I just think that's from the place of hurt. I think that for him, that comes from a place of being broken, a little bit hurt. That's been, has been lied to, whatever in the past. I think that's coming up. I think that's also going to come up and probably play a role in the way he deals with relationships. Shout out to Lydia, who is a prophetess who keeps prophesying about our brother Uche. Lydia seems to have inside trader knowledge about Uche. It's personal for her. I don't know, but it seems to be personal for her the way she want to come after him. I think there's an inside trader knowledge there, right? But that's another story for another day. Okay, let's talk a little bit then about I want to talk a little bit about Izzy, because I really like Izzy. I think Izzy's great. First and foremost, he put, Izzy put Thingy in her place. He put Lydia in her place. Said, "Hey, Lydia, baby, listen, I appreciate it, but me and you, I'm not really feeling it like that, you know. Not really feeling it like that. Yeah, Izzy and his women. Okay, we'll start with Lydia first. The situation with Lydia was interesting, right? They got on like a house of fire. They were vibing. They were chilling. Everything was kosher. You know, and you know, um, it was fun. It was fun, you know. And then, but then he decided that you know what, Lydia was not the woman for him. And do you know why? I think he saw something. I think he saw something that he wasn't ready for. I think he saw. I think he saw a lot. I think he saw a lot of emotionality from Lydia. You know, and we saw that by her reaction. She really wanted it to work out with him. I think she was invested very, very quickly with him. I think also they just didn't. I mean, he likes vulnerability, so why did it not work with her? I think there were some things that he was seeing that he didn't like. I think there were some things that he was seeing that he did not like. You know, and when for me, the part that tickled me was when he did let her down. Is a little comment that she made at the end about, you know, when it's between you and your peoples or whatever. And I was like, wait. When she changed the term to sir and your peoples, I said, oh no, sis. Oh no. Please. Don't be try- don't be trying to finish me off here, baby. Look, I was being polite, I was being caring, I wasn't being rude. So don't be saying like changing my name to sir all of a sudden like you don't know my name, and then talking about other people and putting them in that bracket because I've gently let you down. Okay, all right. So for me personally, I was like, I didn't like that. You know, I was like, yo, I was like, sis, I'm gonna need you to back all the way up and relax. Okay. Let me play this clip for you and then you can see what I'm talking about as well, guys. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. So look, let me be real with you. Shout out to Cynthia. Don't worry, I'm back, baby. Listen, she can't get rid of me. Can't get rid of me. I'm back. Anyway, what was I saying? So I was talking obviously about Lydia's situation and Izzy. So with Izzy and Lydia, I felt like Lydia was very emotional. And overly emotional, meaning there's a deeper wound that hasn't been discussed yet. I think there's something deeper going on with her that she hasn't fully explored and hasn't really given us much more insight into. It seems there's a desperation there to be loved and cared for who she actually is, which is telling me that there's been some brokenness, been hurt, some pain there that we haven't been able to tap into to understand where she's coming from. And so for me, when I was watching in her interaction with Izzy, and then at the end she said, "Obviously, you have a good day, sir." I was like, that sounds a little bit better. And then with your peoples, it's very much giving, go do what you want. When your girlfriend says you go do what you want, But what I saw by that, I was like, there's something deeper that we haven't seen or understood from her particular aspect. You know what I mean? Elsid said recent pain, probably. And I think that in that particular case, the behavior that I saw was a little bit heavy for what Izzy did. I think he was fair. I think he was firm, and I think he was respectful in the way that he let her down gently. So that was that part. Now the part that I want to discuss obviously with Izzy was actually his connections with Stacy and Johnie, because in part 2, hey baby, it gets crazy. In part 2, both Stacy,
Like you're the person I like look forward to talk.
both Stacy and Johnie are just two different specimens. I mean, but the reality of the situation is Johnie crazy. Okay, Johnie be crazy. I'm sorry, Johnie be crazy. Johnie be crazy. Okay, Stacy is another one that is very guarded. She's not going to open up. Is not going to. She's not going to be fully open in a way that emotionally you're going to connect with her. She just isn't that person yet. She's not willing to give that person that room to be able to access her emotions like that. So for me personally, I'm looking at it and going, Stacy's not the one either, right? And she let you know straight up, I'm not here for all that deep stuff. I'm here for the nickety-knack, chit-chat, everything crisp. I'm going to get that. Like, she's here for the vibes and the smoothness. She does not want you to access her emotions like that. She don't want you to get deep with her like that. She said, listen, F the vulnerability. I'm trying to have fun. That's what she said. She said, I'm trying to have fun. You said, you're doing too much. I just want to be able to just be cool, say a few poetries, enjoy ourselves. Like, that's what I want trying to be, right? Because he said to her, look, we get on like a house on fire and everything like that. It's just a vulnerability piece.
And how easy it is for them to share, or like, you're like, oh, I like you, and you're the best. Like, I know what I want, and I could give 2 fucks if someone in there wants you the same way I do.
Now, if you didn't hear it very clearly, what she actually said was at the very beginning, she said, hey, you know what? I know it's easy for the other girls to share, but for me, it isn't so much so. But don't compare me to the other girls. I was like, I was like, so Stacy said, listen, I'm playing the game differently. You're gonna have to catch me. But I'm like, bro, if you really are serious about wanting a long-term relationship, then Stacy ain't the one either. Because I'm not about to start playing games with you, trying to let get you to a place where you're going to be vulnerable. Either you are vulnerable or you're not. I'm not about to start dragging you through that process. We came here to do something different. We came here to be different. We came here because we're gonna be different. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't come here to do the same things that we did outside. You know what I mean? We want to do something different. So for me personally, I was like, yo, no. Let's chill on that. Let's chill on that immediately. Let's leave that alone. Let's not get into that. Let's not try to go down that road. I was like, Izzy, if you're serious about really connecting with somebody and wanting a long-term relationship, I would say to you, broski, leave Stacy alone too, because she's not going to open her heart to you, and you're going to get hurt because you want somebody who's going to love you, who's not going to abandon you. You said you want somebody who's not going to, not someone who's not going to, just take from you. You're looking for that, and you're not going to get that with Stacy, right? Someone said Stacy's a strategist. Absolutely, I definitely believe she's a strategist. Someone says she's a Sith Lord. I agree. She's playing the game strategically. She's guarding her heart, but she's doing it in a way that's also not as vulnerable. And that makes her almost invulnerable and intolerable. She doesn't want to be able to be figured out. And so for me personally, that is giving, again, still comes from a place of trust issues. It's not your natural gameplay. It's a trust issue gameplay. You know what I mean? When you're comfortable in your vulnerability, when you're comfortable in your heart, you don't approach things trying to just be able to checkmate the other person, right? So that's also really important. It's not just about checkmating the other person. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a interesting part there for Stacy. The other part I want to say is, you know, I think for Izzy is the relationship with Johnie. Let me tell you something, right? Yeah, never have I ever seen a madness like this. Well, go on, come through, man. And never have I ever. You can take a seat, bro. If you want to take a seat. Never have I ever seen a madness like this, bro. With Johnie. When I say there was madness, there was madness. Get me? You right, cuzzy? It's your family. Yeah. So when I say there was a madness, there was a madness, and I was like, yo, how can this woman come out and say literally that she divorced her husband because her ex-boyfriend was dead? He had died. Do you know, I think you need to know how tapped that is. When she said that, I said, I'm shook for Izzy. You know what I'm saying? I said, I'm shook for Izzy. Like, I was scared for Izzy in that particular situation. I was like, yo, what going on for this thing here? You know what I'm saying to you? So for me, I said, no. This ain't it. I'm not about this situation at all. Not about this situation at all. So we're gonna play a clip. You guys can judge it for yourself and see what I go on as well. So, whew, baby, it's crazy in the done yet. Let me see that and put it on for you guys. Let me get this.
Learning things about you that I feel like I should have been learning all along. I'm in my head again.
I've told you I'm falling in love with you. Are there things that we're still going to be learning about each other? Absolutely. Like, if that's a surprise to you, like my then husband as well. And I just took a step back from everything in my life and asked myself, what am I doing? What do I want?
Listen, it's a madness out here. So I was like, yo, it's crazy, you know? It's crazy because literally, old girl said, listen, why are you processing it? Basically what she said. She said, why are you processing it? I know I told you that I left my husband. I know I told you that, with my husband, I divorced him because, my ex-boyfriend died, and that's when I realized that I didn't love him no more. But you don't have to process it. You're processing it too much. I said, wait, you don't want me to process the information? You don't want me to sit with what you just said? That you basically told me that you didn't love your husband, you divorced him, and all of this happened because your best friend a friend came out and told you that your ex-boyfriend died from drug overdose because he was a druggie. And that's the only person you ever loved in your whole entire life. Do you know how mad that sounds? Just giving you a play-by-play. It's kind of crazy when you deep it like that. When you give a play-by-play, book line by line, you're really asking yourself some really key questions. You're like, what? This girl just told me that she divorced her husband, and the reason why is because her boyfriend died. What would you want me to think about that? So what happens if your ex-husband dies? Would you suddenly realize that I'm not the one for you too? Shoot, you know what I mean? Like you do start thinking some madness. I think she's a bit of a codependent, an extreme one at codependency, because people that stay with people that have drug addictions and stuff like that end up thinking they can save that person. It usually is a codependent spirit. But you've got that situation, and then you end up, going into another situation with this gentleman. Yeah, I'm gonna be scared of you. I can't lie to you. I'm gonna be scared of you. You know what I mean? So me personally, I wasn't about it. I said, nah. Dead that right there. We ain't talking about that. You know what I mean? So someone said this is why we're not ready for the truth. It's not about knowing the truth. It's about you being crazy. Whether it's truth or not, if you're crazy, we're gonna call you crazy. And maybe crazy is a really bad word. I shouldn't say crazy. But if your story has components where we're listening to it and it's not given healed. Oh yeah, you might have to close the door for me. And it's not given healed, then of course, by all means, we're gonna look at it and go, You know what I mean? We're gonna be like, your story, it don't sound good. You get what I'm saying to you, right? So for me personally, I was like, yeah, Izzy, if I was you, I would run. Okay, I would run. Somebody said everybody needs therapy in there. You're damn right. Everybody does need therapy in there. All right, last few people that we've got to go through. Let's talk quickly about JP, and I always forget the woman's name as well, right? Because it'd be crazy. It'd be crazy on there. It'd be mad. But JP and old girl, I'm scared. I know they got married first, but let me be real honest with you. I'm shook off of them. And I'll tell you why I'm shook off. I'm shook off because Taylor, thank you. She said that they don't talk, they had awkward silences in the booth, they have awkward silences outside. Well, shoot, ain't gonna get any better. If you were awkward in the booth and you're gonna be awkward outside, what do you think's gonna happen? I was like, yo, this ain't gonna work for me. This ain't gonna work for me. I said, no. Listen, if we're doing this inside the booth, we are going to do it outside. And I was like, and yeah, she's not attracted to him. She saw, and you know how we knew? She did the whole presentation with her friend, right? Pretending to go and hug her friend, and do all that kind of stuff. When she saw him, the energy wasn't really there. You know what I mean? The energy wasn't really there. So I said, I don't think this is gonna last very long. Right? Now, and not only that, I think in real time as well, I think the difficulty here is that with JP and Taylor is conversation is really a great foundation of any relationship. If you know you can't speak, you can't talk, you can't share thoughts, feelings, emotions, what your day is like, what your ambitions and your goals and your values are, you can't share those things with somebody, you ain't got no reason to be in a relationship with that person. Because these are all part of the components of foundation of building a healthy relationship. So for me personally, if I see that, I'm like, yeah, I don't think you are going to make it. I don't think you're going to make it. All right. So, and remember, she also said as well that she's a person that looks at looks and she's changing that now. I said, that's some bull. She lying to y'all. Y'all know that she lying. Y'all know that she ain't changed no approach when it comes to looks. She saw that man and was like, oh, damn. I really thought I had changed my heart and my posture, but I see that I still look at looks like looks. You understand what I'm saying to you? So I was like, yeah, that might be a little situation. Maybe a little bit later, that may be an issue. You know, that's very true. She could be projecting because she doesn't like her own looks. I agree. She's not a better looking girl than him. I agree. They're the same level. They're definitely the same level. I wouldn't even lie about that. So I definitely agree with you guys on that part as well. And then the last part I wanted to address was Chris and Johnie. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, yeah, because Trey put up the comment about Chris and Johnie, and listen, Johnie was so hurt by Izzy not being 100% sure that she started thinking whether it was going to be better to have a situation with Chris, but she had already dumped Chris. She had already let Chris go. So by all means, it was mad. You get me? So I was like, oh, this kind of peak. You get what I'm saying to you? So I was like, this is mad, yo. Like, yeah, it was a sad situation to see that your connection that you had has gone, but you should have chosen that particular person because you thought she thought she had got the one. She got the bigger fish. Her crush was Izzy, and so she went with her crush instead of the person that actually liked her. It's like that. It gets like that. So you know, she has to hold that one down as well. All right, cool. Let me get Sean on. And Sean, what are you telling me, bro?
Man, bro, this is pure carnage. It got off to such a slow start. You know, I know we were talking about that, but
Go for it, bro. Mm-hmm.
You know, at the end of the day, once we got like halfway through episode 1, it is nuts. And this one here, with Johnie, she overplayed her hand. This is why you can't overplay your hand. The whole idea is to, you got to let some of the things breathe. I don't know why she was so quick to just determine, and I forget what the other dude's name was that was sliding down the wall and crying, but she cut him loose. And then, I think a part of that
Mhm.
too is that I think once Izzy heard it, he was
Yep.
kind of like feeling good, but then he was like, now I have no competition. And some people, some of us guys, it's a little toxic, but they like the competition. And now
Mm.
that he can fully possess her, now he's like, now he's looking at everything wrong. And once she told that wild story, he was like, maybe I don't want the depth. Maybe I want the fun and good times now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Yeah, I think it's one of those ones where it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. I think with Izzy especially, I think he wants people to like claim him in it. He wants people to like want him. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So if you want someone to want you and want someone to claim you, that's why I think Stacy's in there. I think that's why Johnny's still there because they're kind of giving him that attention. But I don't think that's the right type of attention that he actually needs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No offense to, our fellow panelists, Seaway, but the attorneys, they be moving mad. Men and women. We saw Uche, how he just laced up poor Aliyah. Not poor Aliyah like she's the victim, but he did, he did a doozy with her. And now Johnie with she just seems very calculating to me. And the fact that, she has this ex boyfriend that is deceased of these traumatic things. We're gonna have another Will and Jada and Tupac. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm not for no entanglement, especially with somebody that's no longer in the living, because they become the martyr. And then every birthday, every holiday, every time the wind blows, we got to talk about them. And I ain't talking about your ex, and most definitely not somebody who is gone to the greater beyond. So recipe for disaster.
Yeah, listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. That boyfriend from the grave that haunted your husband and made your husband end up your husband divorcing you is madness to me. It's given Jada and Will and Tupac all over again, bro. Like people are actually ruining relationships from 6 feet under. That is mad. You know what I mean? So when you see that kind of behavior, I think to myself, you got to get out. There is no play. There's no situation where you're trying to, figure it out. I think he needs to get out. Like when she told that story, it should have been, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been blessed. Hallelujah. God bless you for telling the truth. And the Holy Spirit convicted you to tell me. Now I got to
Yes.
get out. You
Yeah.
know?
Just like he cut Lydia loose, because her crazy was screaming. It was screaming, bro. And she's still doing work. And Aliyah needs to stop running to the arms of Lydia, because she got the wrong one. That's starting to make me question Aliyah a little bit, because you want to run to the person that's going to tell you everything you want to hear. And it just made me think of something I saw. It was like a clip that was on Instagram, and it was a husband that said he and his wife made an agreement. Oh, I think Samantha Lee, let's not get on the source, Tyrese's ex-wife, but she had posted this on her Instagram, and she said, in the clip, the guy was saying like he had an agreement with his wife that the 5 people they go to when they have to have an argument on each respective side have to back up the other spouse. Because if all the person's going to do is tell you to leave him, talk bad about him when you go to talk about them, then that person is not equally invested in you and your relationship. So, AKA the person, you need to be with people and friends and counsel that's going to also hold you accountable and not just tell you everything you want to hear. And that's what I see in Lydia. She's just like, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. Oh, you're wrong. He's right. He needs to get over himself. Like you also, as you're lovingly comforting her, need to also, offer balance in your advice.
Yeah, I think Lydia's advice is giving me Lydia's advice is giving I've been hurt and I'm trying to and I'm projecting on you. Do you know what I mean? Like I just feel like that's how she gives advice. I don't like the way she gives advice. So personally, her advice for me is a little bit like even the way she was coming for Uche at the very episode 1, and I'm sure that people have kind of snitched and said that obviously, you know, that she knew him personally. So I already knew that. But even so, if I didn't know that, even if I didn't know that, still the way you're giving advice is you're becoming too invested, right, in the way you're giving advice, and that for me is also a bit problematic. You know what I'm saying to you? Because even if you know the other person, you're not supposed to be involved in the situation, right? You're supposed to be staying kind of clear. Like that's the reason why y'all ain't really saying nothing. But I didn't like the way that she gave the advice. That's me personally. You know what I mean? I didn't like the way that she gave that advice, and I think to myself that when she starts saying, I see you as me, and you know, I see myself in you, and he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. And someone put it out in the comment section when I did a video and said the way she gave advice was not the same way that Aliyah gave her advice. And I was like, you're absolutely right. I didn't even deep that. Aliyah gave advice on like saying, you're this, you're that, you're great. And it wasn't about how bad the man was. But with Lydia, it's about how bad Uche is. And I was like, yeah, when people start doing that, you know, they got that I hate men kind of energy. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm not here for that. So, you know, yeah, it'd be like that.
Oh, well, looky. She heard her name. She's like, don't talk about my profession. I'm gonna come up here. Hey, C-Way.
My name. I don't know how good my service is gonna be while I'm on the way somewhere, but can y'all hear me?
That's
okay.
Right. Oh,
we
we
hear
can
you
hear
well.
you, baby.
Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Oh yeah. Let me know if you guys can't hear me at any time, but yeah. I agree with most of the stuff you guys are saying. The whole Lydia situation with Izzy letting it. I don't know. I need a prompt. Ask me something because I can go on and on and on and on and on. I need a question.
Well, I mean, there's no real question. We're just talking about Lydia, her advice to Aliyah, and how she gave a particular advice in a particular way. And then also as well, you can talk about her relationship with Izzy as well if you want. If you notice something, what did you observe from Lydia's behavior? That's what we probably should ask. That's a better question. What did you observe from her behavior? That's a better question.
Well, Lydia's behavior, and I wish I didn't get the sneak peek of a couple episodes on, but Lydia's behavior I thought was odd. I definitely thought it was odd, and yeah, it definitely was odd. I would just say Lydia's behavior in general, she just kept on saying things like, you know, you gotta have people who love you for you, and you know, I want someone who loves me for me. I think when people say that all the time, they're not actually like, they're not self-aware people. If you're constantly going to people and people just like after they get to know you, they just don't like you at all. I mean, I would think that I would just do some type of self-reflection or figure things out. I think the reason why she pushed Izzy off and maybe she's pushed other people off is she's just a lot. Like, a lot of people can't handle that energy. She may find somebody who can, but she was even kind of stressing me out every time she comes on the camera. She was just a lot. And I don't think she realizes that. And I thought her relationship with Aliyah, at first I thought it was like girls supporting girls, but I do agree she was just not helping Aliyah think critically about the situation at all. I'm glad that Aliyah and Uche were able to have a conversation and got some type of resolve, but it definitely wasn't based on any advice Lydia gave. Lydia was just like, you're a queen, you're perfect, and don't worry about him. And I was just like, that's interesting. Like, I just feel like the conversation could have had more nuance, and I just don't think it's good to yes woman, yes man people. Like, you just don't, those aren't good friends. They're not going to help you grow at all. I definitely agree with something you said earlier, Kojo. I don't think that Aliyah really had a good option not to tell the truth. Like, if you could take some stuff to the grave, I always say take stuff to the grave that you can, but this type of situation really couldn't be taken to the grave, period. Uche definitely put her in the ether. I'm gonna call it the Jessica ether from now on. definitely put her in the Jessica ether and gave her no room out. Like, he meticulously laid the foundation and set her up in the guillotine. Like, she really didn't have a choice. Baby girl did not have a choice but to tell the truth. But I told Sean earlier, I was like, look, when all fails, cry. And she definitely pulled the just start crying and see if that worked. I think it kind of did. She definitely wasn't crying for real. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. There were no real tears.
She did try. She generally did try as well. Like I generally saw it. She generally tried, but just no sodium chloride was coming out. If I'm honest with you, none at all. And that makes it worse for us as a viewer, not for him because he can't see that, but for us it makes it worse. It's like, baby, what are you doing? Why is your head always down? Why? Like, it was really like, it was giving, you know, GCSE acting of us, or you guys, high school, middle school acting, where they tell you, okay, now you got to play a sad character. It's like head down, tilt angled head, sniffles. And nothing's coming out, baby. Okay, your eyes are a little bit red, but nothing's really coming out. So,
that was her only way out, though. That was her only way out. There really was no other way out for her but that. I mean, so I can't be mad at her. I mean, she got backed into a wall, and the victim card was really all she had to play. Not gonna lie, because he really tried to set her up as like she was Stalin or something. Like, she did that man bogus. So he set her up. She had to find a way out. But usually people that try to crucify people that quick, hands ain't clean themselves, Mr. Uche. Hands do not be clean when you try to crucify someone that quick. So, I don't know. I think she did what she had to do.
It'll be like that. Sean, what are you saying?
I agree. She played that crying, you know, sliding down the wall role very, very well. But he was not moved. He kept pressing her. The thing that got me with their whole interaction was how she was trying to slip and slide and blame it on, he's a good guy and I didn't want to hurt him. Meanwhile, he's like, no. You didn't want to hurt who? You. It's
your
you.
Ass. It's your ass.
It's you. She's talking about, well, I told him I wasn't satisfied. Okay, ma'am, you're sounding like a dude a little bit right now. Because we sure don't get that excuse, right? I've been telling you that I need X and I had to cheat. No.
She, you know, again, like Seaway said, Uche didn't give her much room to wiggle out of it, because then she finally admitted, like, hey, this was about me and I wouldn't do that again. And I think that's where she missed the mark. You know, she tried to, like, I think she was not expecting him to press her so, you know, strongly. So she wasn't prepared with, like, all right, let me just speak to this.
I like it. I ain't mad at it. I like it. I'm with it. So, anyway,
I just think you don't understand the darkest of arts. That is Uche. Like, I think he had to find something wrong with her. Like, the way he just had to find something up with her, because she was moving too smooth. He had to kind of
that's fair.
Take the perfection away from her. And I just thought, I don't know. I don't know.
No, I mean, I can actually agree with that statement, that I think he might have been pressing her much more harder, because I think in his head, he saw her as this perfect girl, right? And I think, you know, when you are hurt yourself, you are always looking for some trigger words. You know what I mean? Like, you're very attuned to some trigger words, right? And I think when she started talking about, I've been selfish myself, I think the natural inclination was that, let me ask the cheating question. The moment he asked the cheating question and she started divulging about the story of the cheating girlfriend, that was it. The trigger had started. The timer had started going. And the only way he's going to be able to alleviate her fears would have been to own what she actually did. But then she went deeper and then started justifying it. And when you're already hurt and you're not healed, that just takes you even deeper. You know what I mean? That just triggers you even more. And I think that's what happened. You know, I bet that's what even happened to me. Just literally got triggered in that moment. And so I think for him, I think having someone like, I think the fear for him is trust. So maybe from an insecure perspective, I want to see it as when you like somebody and you're insecure already a little bit yourself, and then you know you're kind of trying to find something that will bring that person down on a pedestal that you've placed them on, not like she's done it, that you've placed them on. And when you feel like that person has some stake and some claim to your emotions already, where they can pull and push you in a certain direction already because you really, really like them, you know, you try to do things to kind of create distance between yourself. And I think that's why he became morally superior to her. It was to create some distance between himself and her. It's actually to put some control on the relationship. Not that he's controlling, but to put some control on how he feels. I don't know how comfortable he is with his own emotions and sitting with it. And the reason why I said that is because of the poetry. When you start talking about poetry, I do poetry because it's one of my ways of being able to express. I don't know how to express myself very well. And I was like, oh, if he doesn't know how to express himself very well, what probably might have been happening is meets this girl, the girl's real, you know, it sounds like she's everything he's ever wanted. And you're almost kind of looking for what's going to go wrong. Because in your previous relationship, something did too. So maybe that's why he was looking that way. I don't know. But maybe that's why he was doing so much in that aspect too. You know, yeah. Could have been. Who knows? But, you know, two things can be right here. You know what I mean? You know, he was right about it, but maybe not the way he went about it. Go for it, Sean.
Yeah, I would say he was setting her up long before that. And Seaway and I talked about this a little earlier. The way he was framing his questions, you could see his wheels turning. So
Okay.
he was he had already had a plan in place for where that conversation was going to go. And her answers just pushed him further and further down that path of getting the information that he needed. Now, I do agree with you where when it comes to why he needed to find a chip in her armor, right? He needed to find that chink in her armor because that keeps him from seeing her and putting her on this pedestal and falling too fast, too quick. Like the rest of some of these people is telling each other they love each other. I'm in love with you. You're the best thing since, you know, sliced white bread. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You haven't even seen this person. You haven't even experienced them fully. These are conversations behind a window. You know, a tinted window. Like, relax. I know we have feelings, but people are going too fast. I think he's more of a calculated person, but he does have that emotional part of himself, and that's where the poetry comes in. So he knows from past experience, yeah. I can't just be Love Jones and everybody. You know, although that's their favorite movie, you know, I can't just be Love Jones and everybody running around here because that's going to get me hurt because, you know, the wrong person is going to see that as vulnerability and then try to, you know, get at me or get over.
And Sean, to your point, I know you mentioned it earlier. I would say as a non-attorney, date an attorney at your own risk. Dating attorneys, especially if they already have that kind of calculated personality anyway, the ability for an attorney to set you up and line you up like the way he did, it's just kind of the way you begin to think and process through the profession. And I feel this from my husband. Also, attorneys are very risk averse. So a lot of times they don't want to take a risk with you and your craziness. So they're trying to ascertain if they need to leave you the hell alone. I don't know what's going on with the Johnie person. She just seemed like someone who happens to have a law degree. I'm not going to lie. She's a little unhinged. But I would say most are like Uche. And he also, not to give too much away, but I also think a lot of people, when they're dealing with their own bull crap, they also try to project some of their bull crap on you. Fair. So that's another thing. I think it's a combination of the two. When you're dealing with your own stuff, a lot of times you try to dirty other people up because you dealing with your own crap. So I think two of those things are going on. But the way she just seems so unprepared for his calculation made me a little bit afraid for her because she seems like she wears her heart on her sleeve.
The sleeve.
And he seemed like he gonna line her up every time. And that's not a good combination when you're more emotional and not really prepared for someone who's 3, 4, 5, 6 steps ahead of you. That man is 3, 4, 5, 6, actually 7, 8, 9 steps ahead of this girl. And that's dangerous. That's a dangerous game. We out here playing dangerous games. So we gonna see. We gonna see what's up with Mr. Uche. But yeah.
No, I definitely love the summarizations that you guys have brought, because I really do feel it does do it justice to what we saw. Like, I think, you know, going that what you've explained, that setup, you know, is very much when we're interviewing someone for Ready to Love on here, and we're asking certain questions where we're keeping it warm, we're testing it, we're keeping it slow, and then boom, you hit him with that question. And it's the same thing. You when you're in that, it keeps it, and I think Sean kind of mentioned it keeps you at a place where you're feeling invulnerable. You know what I mean? So that tells us a little bit about the way that, you know, he's going to operate in the relationship. And even the next day, when he did apologize, and fair play to him, he did apologize and didn't say if or anything like that. He said, look, this is what I did. I'm sorry for that. He actually forgot that he actually said, you know, oh, look, you know, would you do the same thing to me? Whatever, right? He forgot the next day, but he apologized after when she told him. But still, he had forgotten. I was like, how deep were you in this? How deep were you in trying to catch her out that you forgot what you actually even said? You know what I mean? Sorry, apologies. So it's like, for me personally, I can see that this, you're actually right, this would not be a great matchup, because the warfare would always go in his favor, and he would use her emotionality probably against her in future too, right? To be able to get the win. So I don't know how great this would work in his favor. In their favor as a relationship as well. So yeah, I definitely see that as well. Go for it, Sean.
Now I would say, you know, that Aliyah got some stuff to her too. Like, she,
of course, bro,
because the way, you know, and this is just such an interesting dynamic, you know, where you just see the different ways men and women operate in relationships. Because, you know, as she apologized, it's almost like she set him up a little bit too, because she was like, I need to know that I can be able to tell you things and you're not going to judge me, you
That's
know.
very true.
And yes, was there an element of judgment in there, but it's almost like you're inching away from accountability again. Because really the message was, he hurt your feelings by the way he pressed you and made you feel like, you know, ashamed for what happened. But in that shame was really the accountability that was to you for the mistake you made. Because ultimately she did wrong and he called her out for it. But it was just a lot too much and too soon for him to come at her in that way, right? So that's where the apology is, you know, stands. But for her to kind of come back, use those tears again and be like, you really, really hurt me. And I need to make sure this is that, you know, this is like that safe space speech. So now it's like, anytime you want to kind of hold her accountable, you know that this is what she's going to, oh, you're making me feel that way again. You're judging me, you know, and dynamic. So I think, you know, yes, he is well equipped for warfare. She's no slouch on her side either.
Sean, look, she hit him with the woman's trump card, that Uno reverse. She hit that Uno reverse, because at the end of the day, women, we got that card. Because he overplayed his hand. So when she went back to the back and she got to the woman emotional calculation of it all, she knew how to get him. She knew how to get him. His calculation was no match for the woman's trump Uno reverse with the emotional manipulation. No, she ain't no slouch either. She ain't no slouch either. It's just that he is calculated, so she had to figure out a way around that. I don't think she's as calculated as him. And what they say, it's a shame that we got to play these games. And for the folks in the comments, I think we got some new people here who come just for some of these Netflix shows. But I'm an attorney. I'm married to an attorney, and unfortunately, I've dated. Also, my husband. My last 2-3 boyfriends were all attorneys. Been one for 5 years. So this channel, we do make a lot of generalizations about our opinions. That's just what happens here. So what I'm saying is from experience. But if the shoe don't fit, don't wear it. I'm not a calculated person, but I can tell you most of the folks in my profession, which is the reason why I got to work a lot harder, are very prone to being calculated. And that's not my personality, but I'm aware of that's how a lot of people are around me. And if you don't know how to operate in your profession when a lot of people are extremely calculated, you're going to be on the wrong side of them rulings and the wrong side of that negotiation table. So I think everyone needs to get on the good foot and know what type of profession that they're in. I actually happen not to, and most people tell you, not to have a very calculating personality. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I can be more emotional than not, which actually does me a disservice. And so I have to go out of my way to not be that way when I am trying to operate, negotiate, and do the best job for my clients. So that's just that. But Uche, that man is, yeah, he's 10 steps ahead of the game. So yeah.
Yeah, listen. Go for it, Sean. Go for it. Yeah, go on.
Oh yeah, no. The only thing I was gonna say is, I'm in total agreement with Seaway, and I think I saw another comment too about safe spaces not being a good thing. I think just to be clear, of course, being a safe space for your spouse, significant other is a good thing. I'm saying playing on the narrative of safe spaces, right? It's going into like leveraging, like, oh, so you're not going to be a safe space for me. Which prohibits the person from holding you accountable or calling you out when you do things that are wrong. So that was my way of saying that kind of conversation that Aliyah was having with him is kind of laying the groundwork and pretty much how Seaway illustrated it, right? It's the Uno reverse, because now it flipped it back on you, and now you're like, oh, damn. Now every time I'm trying to say something, this is what's going to come my way. So just for clarity.
No, and I think it's a good point. It's funny because actually I didn't say the word safe space per se, but you touched on a point I said a little bit earlier on about it's difficult because you have to hold a nice balance. So he had to check her, but not in a way that was going to be as violent in the way that it came across, right? In the tone. When I say violent in terms of like it was a crash and burn situation, you know what I mean? And that sometimes comes with a tone, that comes with the words choice that you use, the pace, as well, and how you describe the scenario. And he was in that moment, he had the prosecution, he was prosecuting in that moment, and he was doing cross-examination right there. Yeah, that was the same tone he was taking. And so it gets taken across that way. So that's why she felt so judged in that moment. But there needed to be maybe sympathetic tone that needed to come through that was lacking in the way he was questioning her. So it became immediately an interrogation. So, but I definitely understand though that she definitely got her own dark arts. And in fact, not just dark art, we call it what it is, because Uche's got his own little dark arts too. We know that already. But her dark arts is also that manipulation too. She knew what she's doing. If you come in 2 separate episodes, pretending to cry, you know exactly what tears will do. You're trying to weaponize tears to get the sympathy, though. But not in one scene did I see one teardrop. In 100 and whatever was it almost 2-3 hours of footage, I didn't see one teardrop, which tells me you are trying to create the impression of tears because you did several sniffles. You know what I mean, right? You did several sniffles. Now, I don't know about y'all, but we don't just sniffle for no reason. You know what I mean? When you keep doing that sniffles, right? Sorry, my sound went out then, but there's manipulation on both sides of the fence that that work. Yeah, see, I don't know why you're backstage. It says you're disconnected for some reason. Device not connected. Don't know why. But yeah, no, yeah. So definitely on both sides, I see it. You know what I mean? Definitely on both sides, I see some issues there as well. What about what was my notes here? We obviously got there was Johnie, there was JP, there was Lydia. What about these other people? Izzy. I know you haven't really spoke about that too tough. I know you spoke about Izzy, but I don't see where we'll come back and then she can kind of say, and then she'll kind of say, but Chris and Johnie. Chris was the nice guy who was really liking Johnie, and suddenly in episode 2, because Johnie was gonna get Izzy, she came out and said that actually it was just friend vibes. I said, wait, what? I was like, wait, hold on a minute. So you telling me now all of a sudden, Johnie, that Chris is now friend vibes, and then had the cheek, listen to this, then I had the cheek to say in episode 2, actually, the way that Izzy's behaving, I should have gone for the man that actually was that was liking me. At that point, I realized, yeah, chick is crazy. She is crazy. She's smart enough to know that this guy, Chris, liked her more than she liked him. And she took a risk by going with Izzy because that was the one that she liked. And when she realized that guy didn't like her the same way or is questioning the likeness for him, she suddenly was like, wait, why did I give up the guy that actually wanted me versus the guy that I wanted, who's not necessarily going to be wanting me, it seems. So I thought that was a bit interesting to hear that perspective. What was your thoughts on that, Sean?
I thought that was rude as hell, because it's like it's now she's really showing her hand and being super calculated, because if it was as you said and it's just friends, then would you need to pull him back from whence you sent him to get him again, to yourself feel better or to feel like you have an option? And this is the thing, we say this, right? And the ladies, I hope Seaway comes back, but this is why we say, if you don't want me, don't choose me. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not it, don't come in. And this kind of stuff does happen because we're seeing, we're seeing it play out in the real world, right? But when people are dating, we don't see the behind the scenes. So she's going back if it wasn't all filmed, if it wasn't a show, she would have just picked Johnie back up and wooed him right back into her clutches when she's been talking about he's just a friend. And she don't feel old boy like that. You know what I'm saying? And he was down bad. I felt bad for him. Because, he slid down the wall to the floor and wailed. He outdid Jared's cry into the towels. Oh boy, I felt, my heart wept. My heart wept for the way, I mean, his sweater slid up, his sweater slid up. Oh boy was done. Hands over the face. I was like, woo. Yo, I'm sorry. I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening. I'm like, maybe my heart is cold. I don't know. But how are we so invested and so in love with these people? I'll be damned if I'm going to be crying and sliding down the floor and going crazy like that. But listen, I feel bad for him. I really hope she doesn't try to recollect him, because Johnie looks like she just might do that. Like you, I've only watched episode 2, so I don't know. There's no spoilers. I don't want to know, but I'm just saying I could literally see her in future episodes trying to collect him back, because if that's her mindset, maybe I made the wrong choice, or maybe I was too quick to dismiss the connection that I could have had with, the other guy. But no, maybe now I let him go too soon. Yes, sis, you did, because Izzy is on to you. So there's that.
Listen, I definitely hear that as well, man. I think she, and that's why I said people are aware of people's positions, man. Like Johnie was aware of this man's positions, and you're absolutely right. Please don't choose me if you don't want me. Exactly what we're talking about, because, and like I said, that's why I said you got to pay attention, right? Because you know, you have to feel out the person, get to know them as well. But you know, she happily went along with Chris until the one that she wanted, the big fish, she collected. And when she got that, she dropped the one that she wanted. Now, that's that. The important thing here is that, you know, paying attention to that kind of behavior as well is also key. People that are just going to drop you and ghost you, more than likely they had someone else in the picture who was a much better fit. It is what it is, unfortunately. But yeah, no, the situation with Johnie and Chris, I felt for the kid. The kid really did like her. You know, he cared for her. He was deeply involved and wanted to be, you know, he wanted to, you know, really like fall in love with her. So for me, it's like, oh, poor kid. But you got to take it. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You just gotta roll with the punches sometimes, and sometimes you just gotta take the L. You know what I mean? I don't remember seeing him crying too tough. Was it that bad, Sean? Yeah.
Bro, you need to go back and rewatch that. He was done. Remember, you didn't hear when he said, you don't remember when he sent her out the room? He was like, you can go now. You don't have to stay. And once she left, I think once he heard that door click, homeboy was out. He was out.
Like
I'm sorry, I don't want to make fun of his tears, because, you know, listen, crying is real. Men, we do cry. I think, you know, we've talked about this before. You know, especially if we really like somebody, we really care for somebody and see a future with them or a connection, breakups hurt us. Yeah, like we can take a breakup. It takes us a long time, you know, so don't dismiss that. And, you know, yeah, he was down bad, bro.
I'm watching it now. I'm watching it now, nigga. Woo. They even had to do the little blackout. They did their little blackouts, change positions. God, Lee. I feel for the kid.
That was a long one. Yes, I feel bad for poor. What's his name? Chris.
Chris. Yeah. Got him good.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. Yeah, that's a rough one.
Yeah, that's a bit painful still. You know, don't want to laugh at the kid. That's kind of peak. You know, it's not easy to be for that situation. So yeah, I hear it still. So it's not looking good.
But listen, no, and please, I just don't want him to get entangled with her again. Like, let it be.
Yeah, I hear that.
She gave you you took the tough pill, and I think people just in general do that, right? Especially if you really care for somebody, you do that yo-yo. If they release you and set you free, it hurts at first, but don't go back, because that second hurt, that third hurt is even worse, because the more you get invested, the more you sell yourself on, could this really work? Could this really be the case? If they give you the tears and released you, let them go. You know, let them go the first time. And listen, you were the advocate when Jared and oh man, what was her name? Pretty girl with the short hair, Ayana.
Ayana, yeah.
Ayana, right? So when Jared went to Ayana, after he had already pursued things with Mal and she shut him down, Ayana just pushed forward. But see, it's not the same exact, but a similar scenario when you were not the first choice, when you were not who ultimately he wanted to be with. As painful as that was, don't feel or don't take pride in almost being second best, because ultimately he never really fully wanted you, and he showed you in so many different ways, right? Now, sometimes I think we as people, like, we don't even know some things. It's some of our actions are hidden in our self-conscious, right? So I'm not saying that Jared didn't care for Ayana at all. I'm saying ultimately she wasn't the one that he wanted for his wife, right? So at the end of the day, it's like sometimes when we're on the other end of it, we have to be astute to pick up on those signs. And that glaring sign of him saying, listen, he really pursued it with Mallory, but she shut him down, but now I still do care for you. Sometimes it's got to be, look, bro, I appreciate that, and I'm glad you think so highly of me to consider me second, but I think better of myself, and I think if you need to heal from Mallory, right? Because he had never healed from the hurt that he had from being rejected by Mallory before he springboarded over to Ayana. And it's the same thing. And I'm just talking about this because I see the potential of
to happen again.
Chris being in the other thing where he's vulnerable and he really liked her. And people do this, it happens all the time in real life. Sometimes we just got to take that first L and just keep it trucking.
Listen, I definitely hear you, bro. Like that situation, I think, and again, this is a critical situation for anybody in relationships that, you know, I think as people, we have a critical situation because, you know, we also about, you know, like you said, noticing the signs and not lying to ourselves. You know what I'm saying to you? I remember when I was like probably like 19, 20, had just broke up with my girlfriend. I was single now. I remember I was talking to a few women and and you know, the one that you really wanted, yeah, they might talk for a few minutes and then you realize they don't talk to you for a few days or a few weeks, whatever. It goes by and then you lie to yourself and be like, oh no, I think they really like me. Or they give you a time where they maybe like 3 or 4 days or a week, they're giving you energy, and then suddenly it just disappears. You're like, what the hell? Now, the reason why you standing around waiting for them to come back again is because you don't realize your own value. You don't realize your own worth. And so for you, you're almost begging for the crumbs at the table, wanting to get a piece of that person. But the reality is they're not feeling you the same way, right? So if I'm talking to you and I suddenly exit, in terms of if I'm trying to pursue you and I suddenly exit and I disappear, listen, you know, your safest bet is probably, do you know what? It doesn't matter what reason I had, leave me the frick alone. Because more than likely, I probably had somebody else I was talking to at the same time, I was invested with, you know, and I was entertaining. And so, same here with Chris, he's been given his marching orders. Take those marching orders and go home. Okay? All right? Take those marching orders, go home. It's okay. There's another one on their way. You know what I mean? But don't try to fight it. You know, because there ain't nothing to thinking there ain't nothing to lose. There's a lot to lose. Your dignity, your self-worth, your pride, you know what I mean? Your shame and your guilt. You know what I mean? You don't be flogged by that person emotionally. Allow it, man. You know? I definitely hear that.
Yep, 100%, you know, and I think we've all been there, right? You know, where a situation we thought was going to be one way didn't work out. And you know what I used to do, and when I was a little younger, is I would, you know, your ego plays with you. So you're like, oh, I'm going to get them back, and now I'm going to do it my way. No. You're still playing the game. You're still getting caught up. And guess what? It just may not work out the way you think it's going to work out. There's been plenty of times I've been caught up in a toxic spin cycle, and I'm like, how the hell? Yeah, because you decided you wanted to prove a point, Negro. And now you the point. So just, you know, move around. Nowadays, you know, life is so much better when you just realize, when you just take somebody's first truth or that first little thing and you just move about it. It's so much more easier.
Listen, and that's again not lying to yourself. You know, it's important to be real with the evidence and information, and not to live in a land of delusion. You know, we say that all the time. Don't live in a land of delusion. Don't try to win a battle that you try to win a war that you don't try to win a battle that you lost a war to already. Don't make no sense. Like, you know, don't lie to yourself, because it only hurts you in the long run. The other person's winning. If you know that, if you know yourself that, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, you know that I'm not feeling you, then that's okay. You take it on the chin and you go away. You know, you take it on the chin and you go away, and it's okay. You know, you've learned, you've moved forward, and you go about your business. That's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, I personally don't think that was tough. You know, yeah, I think that was tough. Yes, they've also, the ladies have mentioned something as well about Chris. He had a situation where he spoke about his rape case. It was sexual assault. It was a grape case, or I shouldn't say rape. Grape case as well. He had been raped by his female friend in I think, was it college or something or whatever, I don't know, when he was younger. And basically the girl got on top of him and he didn't want it. He said no, and she took him. I think she just took what she wanted. So he told that story. It was Mexico trip. Yeah, I don't know if he was intoxicated or something or whatever. I don't know, but I think he was 17 at the time. Okay, so oh, it wasn't a friend. Okay, I thought he mentioned it. Was this a normal girl?
No, I thought it was
Yes,
a friend of his. I thought that's
I
what
thought it was
he
a friend.
said.
Yeah, I thought it was a
Yeah,
friend.
I thought he mentioned that it was a friend of his. But whatever the situation was, I was like jaws to the floor.
Yeah.
Like with that scenario, that was tough, and I think, you know, that adds some color. So I'm glad that, you know, person mentioned that, because I think that's probably added to his pain, because he really opened up to share that with her. You know, there was a lot of vulnerability and sharing of these very traumatic stories.
Yep.
So early on.
Yep.
And I just think, like, listen, we can't tell people what to do and when to do it, but I just think that's too much too soon. You know, like, I think let's get into my character, who I am as a person, what makes me click. But that revealing that type of trauma, you know, is so early on. You know, and he had said, and it's not like, you know, this is something that he just often talks about. I remember him saying, like, he doesn't really share this story with anybody. If correct me if I'm wrong, I think he might have even said that's the first time he's really talked about it with someone. So I just think those kind of sensitive conversations, we just, you know, and I'm not shaming him for what he's went through. My heart went out to him, because that, you know, that's tough. And, you know, I'm sure there are other instances out there that are like that, you know, that are other men that have gone through something like that. But I just think, you know, just for the sake of guarding your emotional well-being, you know, just in general, we just need to be a little cautious with who we share what with and when we share it.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I think so. Something like this, I think, is very much more. I think you got to be very careful about who you share this with. This information requires trusted people. You know what I mean? Like, for me personally, like, when you're talking about grape, sexual violence, sexual assault, this comes with trusted people that you trust, that should be shared with. Do you know what I mean? So maybe not so early. But then again, we're saying that, and I mean, we're saying that, and then again, you know, the situation being that the fact that these people have a wall between them creates this dynamic that makes you focus on just having conversations. And many people don't have these kind of conversations. That's the reality. You know what I mean? Like, many people don't have this kind of reality. And so, you know, and I think it goes back to what kind of conversations are people having, because a lot of times, you know, it gets to a place where in real life you don't have these kind of deep conversations, because you often get to run away, move away, go elsewhere. You get to do activities, and these are all distractions from having conversations. And actually, you start to realize, like, even just deep, even ourselves, Sean, like ourselves, Seaway, Jay, like, how quickly we've bonded because we've had extra time to just have conversations. It really does take you deep real quick before you realize. But I also agree with you in terms of the fact that there, you know, and I think someone said it, some of the conversation seems like it needs to go for a therapist first, because some of the things that you're saying and the things that some people are offloading doesn't have a caution to it. It feels like you're offloading for the first time almost sometimes when you hear some of these stories, because you don't hear any other narrative around it, any commentary around it that kind of brings well, you know what, I've learned from that, or I've seen that, or I've experienced this, but I've grown from that. Do you know what I mean? So it comes raw rather than coming with some commentary that says, you know what, I've been working on this, you know, I've been living through that, but I've been working for this. And of course, you go through grape, and it's not like it's a here today, done tomorrow. It's just a case of the fact that I think there needs to be a bit more commentary around some of these releases of deep things that people are sharing that they probably never shared with even their closest friends. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. And so for me personally, it's giving people are almost now using Love is Blind as a way to have free counselors. Not saying that people are literally didn't come on the show for that, but it now becomes a free counseling session because people haven't really had real conversations outside of the show where they sat for hours and just talked. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And then, you know, just the ability to discern like who to share these things with, right? And you know, I think that's the part. It's like, you know, am I sharing these things with the right person? Is this person a true safe space to discuss these delicate things? You know, so, you know, but again, my heart goes out to him. You know, I was not expecting him to say that. You know, when they started going down the path of virginity, I thought he was going to say he's still a virgin. Like I was expecting him to say something like that. I definitely was like not expecting him to recount that story. And I think what happened is it sounds like he just felt pressure because, you know, in the audience seems like they clarified he was with his friends and they met two girls, and then it was one of the girls that is the one that did it with him. And I think maybe his friends were in the room, so he did feel a little pressure to, you know, do what everybody else was doing in the same room. So yeah, but again, listen, respect him for being vulnerable, respect him for sharing the story and shedding a light on something that we don't really hear about a lot. So kudos to him for on the other end, for having the courage to say it, knowing that this could be something that could be, you know, that could likely be televised. So, you know, respect to him for that.
I agree that. Let's talk about Milton then. I think that's the last one. Milton and Lydia, isn't it? Milton and Lydia, their situation. You know, Milton. That poor boy, he's about to find out. You know, they say age is nothing but a number, but I'll be honest with you. At 24, could have spun some 30-year-olds, maybe one or two, but I think the majority want to spun me. Because as much as I thought I was mature, you don't realize until you get to 30 that you're not that mature. You know what I'm saying? So personally, I understand why Milton might be a little bit mesmerized, but I think also because she sounds like this really hot, sexy girl that does rocks. I hear it. It's giving the girl next door. It's giving, it's giving what you call it? What's that show? That I love. The science one. I always love that show. They used to come on the science one. Where
the Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, it's giving the Big Bang Theory where that girl's blonde and she's hot and the guy's like a nerd, that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's giving that kind of vibe. So I understand why he's enticed. You know what I mean? They start talking about rocks and he was sucked in, not knowing that she likes talking about rocks, but not on a regular. It's not a thing like that. That's her job. Yeah. That's why she's after Izzy. She's after Izzy because Izzy don't talk about rocks. Izzy talks about stuff that is relatable to life. And when Milton gets out of that phase, they had a video of him talking to one of the guys about rocks. I said, bro, you need to talk about something other than just rocks, okay? All right? Unless that rock is Jesus, the Lord and personal Savior, my friend, please. The rock talking is a lot, you know? It's a lot. What are you saying to me, Sean, about Milton?
I'm not gonna mess with you. Yeah, he needs to talk about the Rock of Gibraltar. He's gonna need to hide behind a rock. He keep messing with Lydia because Lydia is gonna have him in a tailspin, bro. So yeah, I'm not sure why they casted Milton on this show. I'm really not, and I'm just gonna leave that there. But yeah, I think he's barking up the wrong tree. You know, he seems very naive. I don't know. I guess maybe we'll find out in later. Did he really talk about his relationship experience and things like that? Because I don't know how much experience he has to now fast forward into being ready to be married at 24. You know, he would have had to have a lot of living to do and a lot of growth to now already be ready to embark upon Love is Blind. Like, this isn't Love Island. This isn't some dating show where you just, you know, it's not even ready to love. It's like you are talking about marrying somebody that you've never met before and going through a whole experiment. Like, bro, I'm just not sure. He seems like a decent dude, but very, you know, very naive. And Lydia is kind of like, here we go again. She's taking him as the second best, you know, because she was all in a tailspin over being rejected by Izzy. And now here she is entertaining Milton. Two people that are diametrically different. It's like, how are we swinging the pendulum? And so, yeah, I'm just concerned about all of it. It seems a little bit messy to me.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. Like, I think to myself, he's probably one of the youngest members we've ever had on that show, isn't it? But yeah, no, I just think to myself, 24, dealing with a 30-year-old, whew, baby, and then you're talking about she's feisty, and as soon as I said that, I said, you don't have no clue. You don't have no clue. She gonna eat your ass alive. Like, she's going to eat you alive. But it's interesting. I can see why he went for Izzy, because Izzy is, when you talk about kind of like what your seduction opposite is, intellect loves somebody who's a bit more free and sexual and a bit more outside of their mind. Do you know what I mean? They're more in the feelings area. They move with feelings rather than thought. And I can see how that would be attractive to him, you know, because he moves more with thought. And so, you know, she was saying, I want to see you be more vulnerable, you know, and he said, you would be a great mom, you know, if, you know, because you're so emotionally connected. I was like, so where's your emotions? 24, 24 and you're already emotionally disconnected, my sir. You need to chill. You don't need to be here. You know what I mean? You don't even need to be here. So I was like, yo, I was like, broski, you are going to have a heart that is broken. Why do you think that after she's telling you that and the fact that he had the audacity, number one, to ask her to tell her about what happened, and then she had the audacity to tell him what actually happened. I said, and you gonna sit there, Milton, and you're gonna accept this? She's telling you the other guy didn't want her other connection didn't want her. I said, bro, I'm gonna need you to gather your confidence and to walk away, sir. But you're young, you're infatuated, you're excited by the opportunity. You'll learn your lesson when she meets Izzy face to face and she's drooling over him. Yeah, you'll learn your lesson.
And because you know what Izzy was trying to do? He thought he was Joe and singing, "I'ma do all the things your man won't do." But but Milton, you ain't Joe. Not Izzy, I'm sorry. Milton thought he was Joe. You're not Joe, bro. You are the guy that she ran to after she got rejected.
Yeah.
And she didn't even really run to you. She slow walked to you and was side-eyeing you, and eventually was like, okay, you will do. After you tried to put on your rock charm. Bro, get out. Get out fast.
I'm gonna need him to leave it alone, leave it alone. You know, so yeah, I'm gonna need him to leave it alone. You know, and just park that particular aspect, you know. Let's leave that girl alone, okay? Yeah. So I get it though. I get it. He's infatuated. You know, and you know, she's excited. So she's excitable. So I get it. It's not that I can't see why he's in that space, you know. It's tough though. I'll be honest with you, it's tough. It's not easy. And so, you know, I know that, you know, for some people, especially like someone like Milton, you know, you just want to be able to, you like this girl and you think that she's pretty, you think you probably sound like, you're in deep. you're in deep, and I get it, but yeah, I definitely think he's a bit young. I think he may be a little bit ahead of his time right now. A few more years, sorry about that, man. Sound went out. But he seems to be a good looking lad, do you know what I mean? And so go about your business. Yeah, he did call Lydia spicy. I didn't like it. I said I didn't like that. Whenever someone says spicy, I start looking at it some way. I said, mm. But yeah, no, that's all I would say about their situation. I won't say much. End for that. Um, you know. Any other thoughts on this, Sean, before we wrap it up? And we're on time as well, Damn, I said 2 hours. And look at the time. It's perfect. Okay, I don't think Sean had. Any last thoughts, Sean? Oh, your sound is cutting, baby.
Oh, almost in a mountain, so
Wait, is it cut? I think it's cutting, bro. Is it just my sound or? Was it just me? Type in the chat, guys, if you can hear Sean. It might be just me.
No, it's me. I was trying to say I'm in the mountains, so my reception is bad. So this is perfect timing that we're wrapping up.
Beautiful. Okay, well then, Sean, before you get taken out with the mountains, quick benediction.
Sure. Listen, I think we covered a lot, but listen, don't tell too much too soon. And be wary of people that accost you while asking you questions, because sometimes there's something behind it, and don't avoid accountability.
Thank you, Sean. Short and sweet. We love to hear it. All right, guys, this has been amazing. It's been great. We'll be back, I think, on Tuesday, just before I do the live membership only live as well. So we'll be back on Tuesday for you guys to do 3 and 4, just so we can give it a 1 or 2 days settling down, because the next few episodes come on the 29th. So we've got at least another, to the next Friday, is it 29th? So we've got a few more days before we even get to that stage. So I want to be able to give ourselves a little bit of a timeline in between the two. But we'll be back on Tuesday night for another live on 3 and 4, or maybe I'll do episode 3 tomorrow. Who knows? Depends how I'm feeling. But we're going to be Ready to Love later on tomorrow night as well, guys. So make sure you join us, Ready to Love, 8 p.m. EST. We'll be talking about Ready to Love on the latest episode as well. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notifications. We gonna be here. Okay, all right. So Monday night, super panel, Ready to Love, and then Tuesday we'll be back with episode 3 and 4 for Love is Blind. Okay, hopefully I should be at my full capacity then, because my throat is absolutely fired up right now, and I mean it's on fire. So we're gonna go. Okay, all right. So I appreciate guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. We will see you guys soon. Much appreciation. And don't forget. Oh, there was a sorry. Before I go, sorry, I apologize. Someone just sent a super chat. My bad. Janae said super chat. My bad. Sorry. Thank you, Janae, for the super chat. She said, "Who was worse, Kwame, Chris, or Jared crying?" And I don't think anybody can compete with Jared. I know Sean said Chris was crying in montages, and he was, but I just don't feel anybody can compete with the level of emotionality that Jared brought to the table. It was just elite. It was different. It was volume. It was appeasing to the eye. That level of cry with that, you just can't. You just can't. So, so I can't compare that to anybody. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we're gonna enjoy tonight. And go and rest, and we're back Monday. Okay, so Monday we're back, guys, for you guys. All right. All right. Someone said I'll bring the towel back. I'll bring it back for you guys next episode, right? When we do 3 and 4, I'll bring the towel for you. All right. I appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded, and we'll see you on Monday.